Addiction is not always a bad thing, especially if you're having a good time. Today, we are looking at 15 of the most addictive PC games you need to play right now. These are the games that will steal your weekend and ruin your sleep schedule. Let us jump right into it. Warhammer 40,000 Darktide is an absolute bloodbath in the best way possible. You and 3 friends get dropped into a grim hive city to fight off waves of corrupted horrors. The melee combat feels incredibly heavy and satisfying, letting you swing massive chainswords through hordes of enemies. It is basically a survival horror game where you are the monster tearing through the bad guys. You can customize your reject soldier with different classes and weapons to fit your style. The progression system keeps you coming back for better gear and harder missions. It can get a bit chaotic when 50 enemies rush you at once, but that is exactly where the fun lives. If you want a cooperative shooter that does not hold back on the gore, this is it. Witchfire is a dark fantasy shooter that feels like a beautiful nightmare. You play as a witch hunter armed to the teeth with old-school firearms and dark magic. The movement is fast and fluid, letting you dodge and dash around creepy skeletons and demonic knights. Every weapon packs a serious punch and you can upgrade your gear the more you play. It has this addictive loop where you venture out to gather resources and return to your base to grow stronger. The world design is gorgeous and dripping with a haunting atmosphere that pulls you in. It can be quite punishing if you make a mistake, but the combat is so responsive that you always want to try again. It is easily one of the most satisfying shooters available right now. Elden Ring NIGHTREIGN takes the incredible world of the original game and turns it into a stressful cooperative survival experience. You and your friends are dropped into a dark alternate version of the map and have to survive 3 brutal in-game nights. The enemies are relentless and the bosses will absolutely crush you if you do not work together. It has a roguelike structure that makes every run feel different and unpredictable. Finding good loot feels amazing because you desperately need it to stay alive. The atmosphere is incredibly tense when the sun goes down and the real horrors come out to hunt you. It is a fantastic spin on the classic formula that will test your friendships and your patience in equal measure. Battle Brothers is a tactical role-playing game that does not care about your feelings. You lead a mercenary company through a gritty medieval world where everyone wants to kill you. You hire recruits, buy them cheap armor, and watch them get absolutely destroyed by bandits and giant beasts. The turn-based combat requires you to think carefully about positioning and weapon types. When your favorite brother takes an arrow to the face and dies permanently, it hurts your soul. The open world lets you take on contracts, trade goods, or just raid helpless caravans. It is a harsh game with a steep learning curve, but building a squad of elite killers from a bunch of peasant farmers is incredibly rewarding. Just do not get too attached to anyone.
Continues to build as city centers across the globe prepare for the 20th anniversary.
XCOM 2 is the ultimate game of tactical stress and missed shots. You are leading a resistance force against alien overlords who have taken over the Earth. You manage your mobile base, research new alien tech, and deploy your custom squad of soldiers into turn-based battles. The game is famous for letting you miss a shot when you are standing right next to the alien with a 99% chance to hit. That kind of pain builds character. The strategic layer keeps you constantly balancing resources and panic levels across the globe. Every decision feels like a matter of life and death because your soldiers stay dead if they fall in combat. It is a masterpiece of strategy that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Before we continue the video, I want to inform you that right now, there are tons of crazy deals in instant gaming, especially if you love RPG games. Remember how expensive modern gaming lately? Well, not anymore, since you can get so many amazing titles with crazy discounts in instant gaming. Can you believe that just with $10 or even less than $5, you can enjoy one of the best gaming experiences in your life? Just look at these titles. It used to cost like $30 or even more than $40. And to make things even crazier, some games even drop so far to just $1. If you're a smart guy, you know what you have to do. All you have to do is just click my link in the description below, start searching for your favorite games, and use the activation code on your chosen platform. By using my link, you're not only saving tons of money, but also helping me to support this channel. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Granblue Fantasy Relink is a massive action role-playing game that just got even bigger. The game recently dropped the Endless Ragnarok expansion, bringing fresh story content and new challenges to dive into. You get to control a party of beautifully designed anime characters, each with completely unique combat styles. The boss fights are spectacular spectacles of flashy magic and giant swords. You can play solo with smart artificial intelligence companions or team up with friends for cooperative quests. The progression is super addictive as you grind for materials to upgrade your weapons and unlock new skill trees. It feels like playing through a high-budget anime series where you actually get to control the awesome fight scenes. It is an absolute joy to play.
Without madness.
Darkest Dungeon is a masterpiece of misery that is somehow getting even more content. Red Hook Studios is dropping a surprise downloadable content pack called The Fire's Edge next week, adding even more ways for your heroes to suffer. You manage an estate and send teams of stressed-out adventurers into cursed ruins. The turn-based combat is brutal, and the mental health of your party is just as important as their physical health. If they get too scared, they might refuse to heal or just start attacking each other. It is a game about making the best out of a terrible situation. The narrator constantly mocks your failures with his incredible voice acting. It is punishing and dark, but the victory feels amazing when you finally conquer a dungeon.
History will remember your deeds this day.
HELLDIVERS 2 is a beautiful symphony of explosions and friendly fire. You drop onto alien planets to spread managed democracy by shooting giant bugs and angry robots. The cooperative gameplay is hilarious because your airstrikes and bullets will absolutely kill your teammates if you are not careful. Calling in orbital strikes feels incredibly cinematic as the ground shakes and bugs go flying. You are constantly unlocking new weapons and stratagems to cause even more destruction. The community works together on a massive galactic map to liberate planets, making you feel like a small part of a huge war. It is chaotic, stressful, and easily one of the most fun multiplayer shooters you can play with your friends. Just remember to watch where you throw those grenades.
You'll never destroy our way of life! Reloading!
Requesting advance.
I'm faster, buddy, I'm faster. Fuck you.
Rust is a multiplayer survival game where your biggest threat is always other people. You wake up naked on a beach with nothing but a rock and a dream. From there, you have to gather resources, build a base, and craft weapons before someone comes along to steal your stuff. The interactions with other players can be hilarious or incredibly toxic depending on who you run into. Building a secure fortress is a puzzle in itself because players will use explosives to blow through your walls. It is a game of high stakes where you can lose hours of progress in minutes. The adrenaline rush of getting into a gunfight with a backpack full of valuable loot is unmatched. It is a harsh world but wildly addictive. Total War Warhammer 3 is a massive strategy game that lets you command entire fantasy armies. You manage your empire on a huge campaign map, building cities and moving your forces around. When two armies meet, you dive into real-time battles with thousands of units clashing on screen. You can control giant demons, heavily armored knights, or swarms of ratmen. The sheer scale of the battles is breathtaking. Every faction plays completely differently, giving the game endless replay value. You have to balance your economy, diplomacy, and military might to conquer the world. Watching a dragon crash into a line of spearmen never gets old. It is the ultimate power fantasy for anyone who loves deep strategy games and epic cinematic warfare. Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord is a medieval sandbox where you can go from a lonely peasant to a ruling king. You ride around a massive map, trading goods, doing quests, and recruiting soldiers to your cause. The real magic happens when you get into a battle and fight alongside your troops in first or third person. You give commands to your archers and cavalry while swinging a sword from horseback. The combat is physics-based and feels incredibly weighty. You can besiege massive castles with catapults and battering rams. The political system lets you marry into noble families and start your own kingdom. It is a game that gives you total freedom to carve out your own story in a ruthless medieval world. Palworld took the gaming world by storm and just recently hit its massive version 1.0 release. It is a survival crafting game where you catch curious creatures called pals and put them to work in your base. You can build massive factories and have your cute little monsters assemble assault rifles for you. It is completely absurd in the best way possible. You explore a huge open world, fight poacher syndicates, and capture powerful boss monsters. The combat lets you fight alongside your creatures using your own weapons to deal damage. Building a self-sustaining base where your pals mine rocks and harvest crops is incredibly satisfying. It blends survival mechanics and monster catching perfectly to create something dangerously addictive. Monster Hunter World is the ultimate boss rush game. You track down massive dinosaurs and dragons in lush living environments. The core loop is simple but perfect. You hunt a monster, carve its scales, craft a cool new sword, and go hunt a bigger monster. There are 14 different weapon types and each one feels like learning a completely new game. The combat is slow and deliberate, requiring you to learn the attack patterns of your prey. You can use the environment to your advantage, dropping boulders on monsters or luring them into traps. Playing with a group of friends makes the hunts feel like an epic coordinated strike. It is a gorgeous game with a deeply rewarding grind that will easily steal hundreds of hours from you. Path of Exile is the undisputed king of complex action role-playing games. The first game is fully released and offers a massive skill tree that looks like a map of the universe. You can customize your build in millions of ways, turning your character into a screen-clearing god. Meanwhile, Path of Exile 2 is currently in early access and is bringing a whole new level of polish with its full release coming later this year. The sequel introduces smoother combat, dodge rolls, and incredibly detailed boss fights. Both games share an addictive loot system where every dropped item could be the perfect upgrade. If you love grinding for gear and theory crafting the ultimate character, these games offer an endless amount of dark fantasy content. Hades and its sequel are the pinnacle of the roguelike genre. The first game lets you play as the son of Hades trying to escape the underworld, while the second game puts you in the shoes of a princess fighting through time itself. Both games feature lightning-fast combat that feels incredibly responsive and fun. You get random boons from the gods on every run, making each attempt feel completely unique. The writing and voice acting are phenomenal, with characters remembering your past failures and commenting on your progress. Even when you die, returning to your hub world rewards you with new story beats and permanent upgrades. The gorgeous art style and pumping soundtrack make every single run an absolute joy to play.
You can